and I am the owner of Cull Books on 677 Blue Hills Avenue in Hartford, Connecticut. If you ever drop by Blue Hills Avenue or coming into Hartford, please give me a visit. Today, I want to explore some poetry. We haven't done poetry in a long time. So I thought today we could do or listen to some poetry. Poetry is a whole different mindset, different language. As I told you many times before, it was a long time before I even liked poetry. I never knew what those people were talking about. So once I got into poetry, and I got into poetry through children's poetry, I learned to love it. And since then, I've met many poets and have been very inspired by a lot of poetry. So we're going to start out with The Circle of Life. This is a book that I had in a class that I took when I went to Hartford Seminary, the Women's Leadership course. And each season is a different color. And we're into spring, and I really do wish spring would hurry up and get here because I'm cold. I am, if it was winter, I'd be all wrapped up and I'd be used to it, and I'd be walking through the snow or through the wind and the cold, and I wouldn't feel so bad. But it's supposed to be spring. And so you put on your jacket and you want it to be spring, but it's that nippy coldness. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but to me, it gets to your bone. It's worse than winter. It's worse than winter when you want spring to get here and you keep waiting for spring and you get up hoping that spring is here and you walk outside and it's cold. So we're going to kind of pray for spring to get here. So here, and let me find my glasses. I just had them. Yes, here. Spring, a season of birthing. And that's when you first notice spring is coming, you notice things coming out of the ground that are green. You notice the buds on the trees. Oh, and the flowering trees are out, and the flowering bushes are so beautiful. Like we had died in the winter and we come back in the spring, beautiful with beautiful colors. So I'm going to start out with a poem, A Spring Blessing. Blessed are you, spring, bright season of life awakening. You gladden our hearts with opening buds and returning leaves as you put on your robes of splendor. Blessed are you, spring. In you is a life no death can destroy, as you exchange places with winter. You harbor no unforgiving spirit for broken tree limbs and frozen buds. Blessed are you, spring. You open the closed buds on our despair as you journey with us to the flowering places. Blessed are you, spring. You invite us to sing songs to the frozen regions within and to bless the lessons of winter as we become your partner in a new dance. Blessed are you, spring. Like Jesus standing before the tomb of Lazarus, you call to us. Remove winter stones, come out. There is life here you have not yet tasted. Blessed are you, spring, free gift of the earth. Without cost, we gaze upon your glory. You are a gospel of good news for the poor and the rich alike. Blessed are you, spring. Your renewing rain showers and catharic storms nurture the potential that sleeps in earth's heart and in our own earthened heart. Blessed are you, spring, seasons of resurrection, sacrament, and of promise. Like Jesus, you rise up out of the darkness, leaving around you a wake of new life. Blessed are you, spring, miracle child of the four seasons. With your wand of many colors, you work magic in the corners of our darkness. Blessed are you, spring, season of hope and renewal. Wordless poems about all within us that can never die. Each year, you amaze us with the miracle of returning life. Blessed are you, spring. The circle of life. And that is part of the circle. If you think of the four seasons, it's the circle of life. Every aspect of life. The creation, the spring, the summer, the fall as we're weaning, and the winter as we rest and die to come back in spring again. Oh, how wonderful life is. How wonderful. When we go out in the morning, we should think of that. We should look all around us at all the living things, because everything is living. Everything. Think of it that way. Okay, we're going to go to this book, Beyond the Frontier, African American Poetry for the 21st Century. And I'm going to tell you that the cover of this book, I'm going to show it to you if you can see it. The cover of this book, I guess someone needs to explain it to me, but I don't. It doesn't resonate with me, and I feel sad when I look at it. I have not sold very many of these books, although I've sold a few, and I've had them in the store for 10 years. So I never really opened this book. It was just one of the first books that I chose when I opened the bookstore in 2006. So we are going to, and then today I opened this book. We're going to, after commercial, I'm going to read a few poems, but let me just tell you this. When I opened this book this morning, I was surprised that I liked so many poems in the book, and I was kind of sorry that I had not read them before, because all I did was look at the cover. Did that tell you something? Sometimes you need to go beyond the cover and do some digging and seeing what things are all about and what people are all about, right? Yes, a lot of us have that problem with just looking at the cover. So right now I'm going to go on commercial, so I will be right back and we'll get into Beyond the Frontier. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I went all the way up to the 12th grade, and I was skipping school. I was selling. I was out there doing bad things because I thought I could just get the fast way. My aunt knew. She came busting at me, came hitting, knocking me upside the head, telling me, to stay in school because they told her, they called in. Parents, you got to keep on top of your kids because at the end of the day, they got to stay in school for the future for y'all and your family to grow. Stay in school, it's a big deal.
Welcome back to Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner. Our first poem, mothers and people who care for other children will definitely recognize this. I had to smile when I read it this morning. It's called Worry All the Time. From the moment I realized I was carrying you in my womb, I began to worry. Will it be healthy? Is it too small? Why isn't it moving? And I'm eating. Am I eating enough? Just worrying all the time. When when were you born? As pretty as you were, you seemed as healthy as could be. I couldn't believe you belonged to me. I was so happy to be in your midst. Joy was never quite like this. And then I started to worry. Will he wake when I'm not here? Will he fall off the chair? Are there too many people around? Is he afraid of all the sounds? As you began to form, I thanked God every day, prayed he watched by you and not let you stray. Asked that you grow up safe, healthy, and strong, knowing that I'd love you forever, whether you were right or wrong. And then you began to walk, run, and play. A part of me wanted to stay near you every second of the day. As I watched you from afar, fear loomed within me. Will he fall? Is he bleeding? Where did he get that bump? He's climbing too high. He's running too fast. Though one day, not so long ago, I realized that you never really belonged to me, but you were your own person. God created you, and I know that. Your fate is in his hands. Still, I worry all the time. Oh, how familiar is that to some of our parents, or quite a few of our parents? This poem is to keep from shouting something. I actually have not read all the way through this poem, but it seemed to be an interesting one. So I may flip flop a little, but I hope I get the meaning out to you. To keep from shouting something. This is a story told to me. The black wife, my father's grandmother, sits to the side of the casket at the gravesite. Today she is burying the black doctor who has not been her husband for over 10 years now. The black doctor who left her for a white woman. My great grandmother watched the white wife sitting right in front by the hole in the ground, and she concentrated on dirt making thumping sounds on top of the doctor's grave. She thinks of the land now lost to her, of the man she is sure this white woman killed. Before he can be reclaimed, and she knows she should keep her gloved hands folded in her lap. She should remember the ceremonies of the middle class. Instead, she starts screaming. She becomes very colored. She is not ashamed. Maybe you think this was a simple story, and you assume who told me and why. My father, of course. My father, who hated what he understood too well. What would you say if you knew that all my childhood I had seen pictures of a white woman in our album, initialed MEF, holding my smiling 2-year-old father, his legs short and fat and round in an O. It was only after my father's death that my mother showed me the picture of another woman, a 5'2" woman who had held a gun on a mob of the Ku Klux Klansmen to protest her black husband, to protect her black husband. A nameless woman with kinky hair piled on top of her head, her thick lips perched tightly to keep from shouting something. My father didn't speak to me about this black woman, only the white one. He said this white woman was the kindest woman on earth. She kept him from freezing to death one winter in Lincoln. Her neck was fragrant, and she sang in an alto voice. My mother says this white woman was a good nurse, one who knew all the right poisons that caused a black man to forget what he was or made him die trying. Well, wow. I don't have a lot of comment on that one, but I truly wish that there were some women here with me right now to comment on that poem. That would be very interesting. But I am so glad in this poem that the picture of the woman who stood up for her husband with the kinky hair against the Ku Klux Klan was still there, although hidden away, like many of us are. I know that woman. I know that woman. I really do know that woman. Okay. Do I want to do that one? Okay, I will do. Oh, it's almost time for a commercial. But so I'm going to do this very short one. She kneels at the wailing wall. I learned harmony in Mama's wails over skillets and hot roasting pans, through fever and achy bones, at night when the house quieted, when all that we could hear between the buzzing of cozy snores was the house gently popping with silence, calming from the commotion of the day. I tiptoed past Mama's room and saw her kneeling over a warping mattress, eyes clamped, one open hand professed clapped against the other, gathering pieces of herself to give tomorrow. She could really hum. Now it's time to commercial. I'll be right back with another poem. The folks at Cull Books in Hartford want to remind parents, kids need to exercise the most important muscle in their body, the brain. How do you do that? Read. What happens? Well, let me tell you. The imagination soars, the creativity blossoms, the world opens up, and the need to be entertained by outside forces diminishes. Don't believe me? Try it. You won't be sorry, and in time, either will your kids. Cull Book cares about your child's literacy. Join Miss Cleo every week on Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner online at accesstv.org.
I started skipping school at a very young age, around 5th or 6th grade, I want to say, because no one really paid attention and it was fun. My family was a broken down family. My mother was an independent mom, but she struggled, but she did the best she could. If I can go back and do it all over again, I'd say stay in school. Make sure your kids go to school. It's a big deal.
Welcome back to Miss Cleo's Storytelling Corner. Voice is a little dry this morning. Call and response. God, no. Date, 21 August, 93. Jamal. Time, 10:48 p.m. Oh, Jesus, please. Location, 3rd and T. Somebody call 911. Name, Jamal Jones. Oh, God, please make him breathe. Age, 17. Look at me, honey. Injury, gunshot wound. Somebody help me. Height, 5'9". Oh, Jesus. Jamal, don't leave me. Weight, 160 pounds. Lord help him. Lord help him. Hair, black. Where's the ambulance? Eyes, black, dark. Baby, can you hear me? Familiar. Whew, very familiar. These poems are getting to me and I didn't open this book. The Bible buckle. Make you wonder if religion is profound, with a church on every corner in this town. Lord, they've taken you out of heaven and distributed you like a 7-Eleven. Religion here, religion there, religious everywhere. Out of all of the churches, on any given day, a minister cannot be found to lead the way. Beware the day they wake up and see that this religion ain't what it ought to be. Oh yeah, I'm hearing some amens. Yep, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Amen. There is, I think I read that one. For St. John's. Okay, let's go with this. Staff, Sergeant Edward A. Carter, Jr., there and back. Across the field from a warehouse, unseen eyes have us all to themselves. Our rank takes fire from bazookas. Small arms swarm, hornets guarding the hive. I'm heading a patrol across the field under sniper fire. 150 yards is a series of agonizing inches. We begin on our bellies, dark worms wiggling while depth waits, patient and inevitable. One man is stung. As soon as we begin, I order the others to pull back and cover for me, but 2 shots drop them both. I hug the earth so hard, my fingernails bleed. 5 bullets find me, 3 in the left leg, another in my arm, 1 more for my hand. Each impact is a burning taunt. I've got your name on me. How fast can you move? I am sweat and mangled muscle. Thick grits stick to my tongue. Agonies, ecstasies swim in my memory. I see my lady, luminous and lovely, laughter shining in her sweet brown eyes. I call out to her and gulp grass. Breathing burns. My lungs hold hot matches to my throat. I am swimming in sand. The grains wear away my skin, find their way to the slick bone beneath. I must move while staying absolutely flat. Under Aaron's bullets edging my ears. The warehouse at last. I roll behind a barn. Hours pass. Gradually, my strength gathers. Angelina surges, electrifies arms and legs. When 8 Nazis find me, I'm a miracle in motion. The black angel of their dreams. 6 soon fall dead, their eyes wide open, mouths soft, circles of surprise. I use 2 as shields, white wings for the flight back. Patrols in ribs stir their stumbling. I hear shouts, commands, men moving. My platoon appears, helping hands catch me as I fall, handles the holes in me. You made it, a soldier says. You made it, man. You made it. Yeah, I say. There and back. Ooh. Oh, I just want to do this one before we end here. But I might not be able to do it. Let's see. The Black experience. Whole populations have been shattered into people who live jagged edged lives, human fragments in search of discarded memories that once held all the pieces together. Everything is upside down. Europe has never been a continent. African history is not the history of Europeans in Africa. African time is ancient. African time begins before the appearance of people who would be called white. European did not exist. In the beginning, only black people traveled down north from the mountains of the moon. Columbus did not discover America. The New World is old. America is an alien idea forced into being. It did not live in the dream vision of the native people who were already here. The people who discovered Columbus no longer exist. What must it be like to be the last of one's tribe? Extinction. Who remembers their name? What of their memories? No glory in long walks or trails or tears. Columbus was lost. He came a stranger whose intentions were never good. Bringer of a new world order, Holocaust centuries before the Hitler's years. So-called red people, the blacks, Indians, reservations, slaves, descendants of ex-slaves, disconnected people, inventions, figments of a sick imagination fired in the furnace of white supremacy, Native Americans and Negroes, niggers and smiling red Sambos. Manifest destiny was just another name for extermination. A bully nation created itself out of the destruction of many. Europe cast her new world shadow in blood, in disease, in death, all in the name of their missionary God. Strange worlds, new people. How did enslaved African mothers raise healthy children? Old remembered traditions come together in new ways. Voodoo, rebel African conjuring in Haitian mountains. Papa Ligba opened the gates for Toussaint Desailly, a inventor, a traveler, which I'm not being able to say his name, and Christopher for freedom. Congolese magic in the body of Dan, Dehominy, Dambella, Arada, Petro, protective spirits. Candomblé, Holy Mother Mary. I'm going to stop there because if I go any further, I will read that again to you sometime when I get that last part together. But it is a wonderful, wonderful poem that has a wonderful climax that I wish I could finish, but I cannot because I can do it no justice. And when you can do something no justice, you stop. So I'm going to stop. And I'm going to read this to you again sometime when I get all of those scrambling words together. And that's what you do. You keep on keeping on. You keep on trying. You open it up again another day, and you try it again. Keep on stepping. So, our time is up. And I will see you next week. And you remember, read a little, write a little, dream big. Come back and visit next week. I'll see you.